The other thing that, piqued my interest, which I never saw once in any of those SEC filings from 25 years ago, and I never have seen it today, is that I noticed this chief product officer for Carvana, a guy named Dan Gill, had bought $3 million of stock
Mm.
himself in Thanksgiving of 2022 when the stock was $7.50. And it just so happened that he followed me on Twitter. So I DM'd him and I said, could I give you a call? I'd love to chat. And he said, sure. And I started talking to him. And it turns out he's Canadian like me, but he lives in Santa Monica now. And so we were, catching up about that. And then I said, I got to tell you, I never see chief product officers
Yeah.
spending $3 million. I said, like, I know if that was me, if I was in your shoes and I came home and told my wife, hey, honey, this company Carvana where I work, where like 90% of our wealth is tied up in the stock price of Carvana, and it's gone from 400 to $7.50. What I want to do is I want to take $3 million of our own money and put it in more Carvana shares.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know if I would have won that argument with her, especially like
Yeah,
she probably said,
I don't want to diversify. I want to consolidate more. I want to be more concentrated in this one giant stock. So this is an incredible insight. So then that leads us to,
well, and so
well,
he said, like, I really believe in Ernie. I know it's going to be tough. It's not a layup that we're getting back to 400. We have a lot of issues that we have to deal with, but we've known each other since Stanford. Everybody else on the team knows each other. When I heard him say, it, said it's going to happen for sure. For sure, these guys are going to come back. And all the hedge fund bros on Twitter, anonymous accounts, they were dancing on the grave of Carvana. They're like, these guys are a
I
bunch of
remember.
criminals and all this kind of stuff. Nobody said anything positive. I didn't see anything positive about Carvana until the thing was above $300 a share. It was
That's a
like,
great segue to Opendoor because I feel like for a long time people have been dancing on that grave, and you, on the other hand, had a very different thesis. So, Eric, why don't you tell us what caught your eye about it and when you bought in?
I think it's a very similar company to Carvana. Like one's revolutionizing used cars, going direct, getting rid of the used car dealerships that you used to have to go to buy and sell your used car. The other is obviously trying to disrupt the traditional agent and go direct to you. Both have needed a lot of debt to kind of build that. Both were encouraged by Wall Street to kind of grow, at all costs. Growth first, profits second. And then both got hit over the head when interest rates jacked up so much in 21 and 22. And so and then both got left for dead. And I just thought that both would eventually prove that they could be profitable with their direct approach, just like Uber. I mean, Jason, you would know this better than I do, but
Yeah.
I mean, as recently as like 22, like 3 years ago, I remember it would be
Yeah.
common. You'd flip on CNBC and say, they'll never be profitable at this business.